Hey guys! Welcome to my video about the body positivity movement and what I have learned in the year and a half that I have tried to immerse myself into this new movement. Little bit of background. My name is Jennifer Radke and I run a website called iwishiwereme.com. And the idea behind this website is to help women to begin a body positive journey. So let's see. A year and a half ago, give or take, 2 years maybe, I was in the throes of a major life event. Up until that point, I had had an extremely disordered relationship with food in my body throughout when I was young, maybe 8, all the way up till the end of high school. Once I got into university, I started deciding to go on to a diet, and I went on to a diet when I was in my early 20s, and I never really stopped dieting. So I would jump on a diet, I would slowly gain the weight back, I would jump on another diet, slowly gain the weight back. Through the course of this, I did probably 15 different diets, some mass marketed, some not so much. I reached my goal weight about 5 times. I did 2 bodybuilding shows. I was diagnosed with an eating disorder. In my life, I got a divorce. I started a new relationship. I had somewhere in the area of 4 different jobs. The last job that I was at, I was bullied. And my relationship was kind of falling apart at home. So you take a year of being made to feel like you couldn't speak in both home and work, and that pretty much got me the diagnosis of clinical depression. Once I got that diagnosis, I had to take a stress leave. I was hospitalized with massive stomach pains, and I took a leave of absence from my job in order to try to put myself back together. And in the course of that, I began to do some reading and some research on the body positivity movement. So like I say, I've been trying to put myself into this movement for about 2 years or so, a year and a half, 2 years. And there's been a lot of things that I have learned. And one of them, I'm going to go through 4 kind of major ones, but there's clearly quite a bit more that I could probably say. The first and the biggest one is that I'm still learning. When I first started doing, putting up posts on my website and doing all my blog posts, my focus was different. I was involved with the body positivity movement, and I felt like I wanted to embrace every single other body, and I wanted to embrace all of our differences, and I wanted to embrace my own body. But at the same time, I felt that the thing that was lacking wasn't that we needed to stop dieting completely. The thing that was lacking was that none of us were taught how to maintain our weight once we hit our goal weight, because I'd hit my goal weight so many times. It was only through the course of understanding the biology behind dieting and understanding why culturally we are being pushed into dieting did I begin to realize that the body positivity movement is the more healthy, in every sense of the word, way to look at our bodies, at dieting, at nutrition, at so many of these other things that for decades I had been focusing on. But I'm still learning. When it comes to this movement, there are so many different things and so many different aspects of it that I don't really know yet. I listen to podcasts and I do read as many books as I can, but there is still a lot to learn. There's still a lot to learn in order to speak the language of inclusivity, in order to understand what women in different bodies are going through, it is really important to start to communicate. And I'm trying to open up that dialogue and just kind of get that communication started. But I am learning as I go. The second thing that I have understood from being into this movement is that not being on a diet is really hard. If you are the type of person with a type A goal-driven personality, chances are good that you have stood in front of the mirror at some point, been disgusted with yourself or felt bad about yourself and thought, the way to fix this is a diet. The way to fix this is to eat healthier. The way to fix this is to go to the gym tomorrow. I'll start my diet on Monday. And getting involved in this movement was eye-opening for me about why that is so wrong on every level. Our body doesn't like that. Our body will not help you in that endeavor. Culturally, we're being pushed into thinking that our bodies are not good enough the way that they are. And so there's so many things wrong with us stepping up in front of the mirror and having that thought. We need to begin to change how we look at ourselves. But not dieting, which for me in every way possible is the first thing I recommend to anyone who's looking at getting involved in either this movement or even trying to change their relationship with their body. Not being on a diet is really difficult. Like I say, if you're type A, goal-driven personality, and you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see because of whatever factors coming into play, not dieting in that moment, saying, no, I'm going to honor the body that I have. I'm going to show my body love and compassion. Not going out and grabbing all the crap food that you can find, but rather sitting with the discomfort is so difficult. And if I'm really being honest, is probably more difficult than setting out a meal plan and an exercise plan for the week ahead so I can lose 5 pounds. The third thing that I have learned being in this movement is that it's really easy to say that you want to be inclusive of all bodies. But it's a different thing to begin to not only change how you're communicating, but what you're thinking. For years, I played what I call body pick-apart. Even when I was thin, I would step up to the mirror and I would adjust things and look at that part of my body that I really didn't like. Every time I would look at a picture, that body part would be what would stick out to me. The other game I would play is called the comparison game, which I think every woman has played everywhere, where you're going and looking at what another woman is doing or looking like and comparing your body to hers. I can't tell you how many times, especially when things got quite bad with my eating disorder, where I would be walking in a mall or somewhere where there's a lot of people, and I would literally go, okay, I think I'm a size 4, and I think she's a size 2, and so she's a little bigger than me. I really, really I wish I had her butt. Oh gosh, my stomach is way better. I'm glad I don't have hers. That kind of a thing. This would be a thought process, and I had to learn to stop it. And while I can vocalize all I want about how it's important for us to all begin to respect other bodies in whatever size, shape, and form they are, it is a lot harder to begin to internalize some of these things, especially if you have been immersed in the diet culture for so many years. The next thing that I have learned is that health is different than being body positive. For the longest time, if somebody was to ask me, what are my values, I would have said health is number 1. But when I really evaluate that statement, I know that it was not health that was number one. Because if it was health that was number one, when I was going to bed starving and literally awake because my stomach needed food and I wasn't giving it to my stomach, or when I was heading to the gym, dreading my workout, hating every second of it, and only feeling satisfied when I had put it on my tracker, I would realize that's not health. That value is called wanting to be thin. So learning that there is a big difference between health and wanting to be thin, and you can be body positive while also looking at health. You just have to look at health in a different way. It is not about body shape, size. It's not about your weight on the scale. It's about how you feel and your energy levels. How do you feel on an energetic level? The last thing I have begun to understand, being in this movement, is that I still hate my body sometimes. I've had a pretty disordered past. I have a lot of stuff to unpack there. I have been in the throes of dieting for, I want to say, 30 years at least. That means that 2 years is not going to change everything. So I still sometimes wake up and play that body pick-apart game. I still sometimes put on a piece of clothing that is too small and get upset. I still sometimes am hard on myself. The difference now is that instead of playing those games, instead of being upset about that and deciding that the solution is to go out and grab another diet book, another diet magazine, start tracking my food, start tracking my fitness, start working out insane amounts of hours, is to sit with it, feel that discomfort, and then treat myself to some love and compassion. Allow myself to cry, if that's what I want to do. Allow myself to go out and buy a bigger pair of pants, if that's what I need. And not feel sad about it. Because I'm beginning to treat myself with the respect and love that I would want to show someone else if they were going through these thoughts and emotions and feelings at that time. It's easy to pay lip service to some of these concepts. It's a lot harder to live them. If you want help with that, if you are done being stuck in this dieting cycle and you know that there has to be a better way, and you're looking to find a different way of stepping up to the mirror and not feeling that discomfort in your body anymore, that disgust with what you're seeing, without dieting, check out my website. Shoot me a private message. Let's have a chat. Jennifer Radke, IWishIWereMe.com. Thank you for listening.